What's going on, everybody? Thank you for turning down your volume in your car on the way home. I've got a very sharp marketer, and you guys are going to love hearing from Mr. Steve Estévez. No, he's not Emilio's brother. Yes, he lives in the rat's mouth in Florida, and he's sharp, and he's got a giant house of brands in dermatology. This is going to be fun because derm is really exciting for a lot of PE groups. It's a really exciting place for marketers because it has to balance the general side with the cosmetic side. That's often very lucrative, cash pay, and can ramp very quickly. And then you've got like all the kind of HIPAA stuff you got to deal with in the middle that's ramped up. But derm, very exciting, just like dental was a decade ago. No offense, dental, you're still very exciting, but derm is the new dental. So this is cool. Steve, welcome to Ignite.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, Alex.
De nada, Esteban. Where are you based?
South Florida. I currently live in Boynton Beach, very close to Delray Beach, Florida.
All right, so this dude's chilling. And for those of y'all that can see him on video, he's got a cooler studio than the guy that's hosting the podcast. So it tells you a lot about
of mine,
how cool he is. Yeah, man, that's the dude. You get on a call with this guy, you're like, damn, he looks good, and the background's good. And he has a 4-month-old baby, yet looks rested. Imagine
by the miracle of the derm gods.
That's what I need. I need to get these cholesterol deposits.
You're laughing, but it's crazy how much I recommend to my guy friends. Do you have a skincare routine?
Yeah.
And no, they're like, well, I wash my face when I'm in the shower. Like, come on. There's especially at this age. You're like 29 right now.
Yeah, right. 29. I celebrated 20, like Jennifer Lawrence in that movie. I celebrated 29 just last year. I'm 39, but she cracks me up. Tell them where you work.
DermCare Management, dermatology management group.
That's right. House of Brands. Tell them about House of Brands. How many locations? Where are we based? We got a lot of Florida. What's going on?
Yeah, so our corporate location, so DermCare is based out of Hollywood, Florida. We operate over 70 different locations across 4 states, Virginia, Florida, Texas, and California. Our brands range from completely full-on medical dermatology to a mixture of dermatology and cosmetics to plastic surgery practices and research facilities as well.
How many brands total between the 70 locations?
Like 28 to 30 different brands.
Gosh, each one has like 2 location average. Yeah, so that's 30 brands. Steve, what's your team? You got 30 people in in-house marketing with you, right?
No, we're a very nimble team. Right now we have 6 people, but very, very great vendor partnerships, and they help us.
Of course, the best agencies in the world. What does the in-house team look like? What everyone always asks me, the reason I'm asking, like, what's my first hire? Talk about what your first hire was, because you've been there 6.5 years, a year and a half before that in derm. So you love derm. What was the first hire, and then where did you go from there?
So my first hire while I'm at DermCare was somebody that looked like me. So basic, not physically. Somebody that could manage day to day. So we were a scrappy, startup in the beginning. So what you're looking for is just somebody quick to help you with the tasks at hand. Yeah. As you start developing an actual structure or a vision, then you start hiring for what you need for strategizing, for reporting, analytics. And so I want to say my first hire truly was one of my current marketing managers. His name is TJ. So one of my first marketing managers we call it a digital and performance team. So we have 2 teams in the marketing department, and one of which is digital and performance. The second is brand and engagement, which focuses on social media and PR.
Yeah, got it. And do either of these teams work directly with the provider owners that sell?
We encourage that. So we're very much hands-on. So one of our guiding messages, value propositions of DermCare is we're here to enhance your brand. And every medical director that partners with DermCare has a heavy hand in guiding that brand as we work to continuously make it thrive and grow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, got it. Yeah, they're like partners. So you guys actually follow through when you're acquiring practice. It's not like, oh, thanks for selling. Actually, we're going to run whatever kind of advertising we want. TJ was, yeah, that screws out. You don't get any acquisitions after they tell their friends about that. TJ was the first hire, Swiss Army knife. And then where'd you go from there?
So the next one was socials. And it was actually one of my first hires for one of our plastic surgery brands. Her name is Afroza, and she was sharp. She could create just amazing content, but not only that, she looked at the operational needs of content creating, meaning, where were our deficits? What services do we want to highlight? So that was very important, and she's grown so much in the company. She's now, leading socials.
Nice. Nice. And for 30 practices. And such a
Imagine.
And guys, keep in mind when you're listening, all 8 of you, by the way, we appreciate each one of you. I need to get you birthday cakes on your birthday for listening to Ignite. Social, very important with dermatology. Not all groups. I don't know if you do that. And if you were running dental or behavioral, I don't know if you do that, but so important in derm to put someone fully in charge of social, because it is a good patient acquisition machine, right? Or social no matter what.
Social no matter what. I don't care what it's where attention is currently, whether you're doing it on Instagram, Facebook, or TikTok. Just create content that aligns with your message.
I know my boy Kevin Dugan. I just interviewed him from Brightview. He would agree. Hey, listen, social's just a distribution method. It's the content that counts. And if it's social or email or whatnot, it doesn't really matter. So you've got, did you say it's performance and then brand are the 2 teams? Sorry. Yeah, that's right. Is it performance? Did I get that
digital
right?
And perform. We call it digital and performance, and brand and engagement. In order to scale multiple brands, you need to have a structure where you can define marketing calendars for each brand. And so we needed distinct teams that I could be able to delegate functions of what are the deliverables for each of these brands. And these are the heads of those teams.
Yeah, that's smart. And then for the performance, what are you measuring in your practices? Do they all have, I see some have online booking. Do they all have online booking? Or what are your main KPIs? Whatever you're willing to share about how you look at performance, what you measure and what you accelerate.
Yeah, so that's the main reason for having a performance team, let's say, is first you want to establish attribution metrics. And those are, whether you have online booking, did they come through a recall campaign? Did they come through new patients or existing patients? Did they come through social? So getting these reporting and KPI metrics dialed in, that you know exactly where your patients are coming in and that this team can report on that. And then also working with our in-house copywriter so that each brand has their distinct messaging, whether you're communicating over email, whether you're communicating over social, whether you're on your website. It doesn't matter where your patient is interacting with your brand. They get a similar messaging throughout.
That's so much to do. Okay, so whether it's search or email, they're getting a similar message. You really want to personify the brand as best as you can. So the in-house team has to roll out all messaging, creative, and distribution stuff like email for all these 30-some groups?
Yes.
Wow.
It's a lot. It's a hard... Look, I don't have all the answers. I'm over here talking about experience mostly, so I'm not going to... They are amazing, and I told them today, you guys are going to get shout outs throughout this thing, but they do so because they've really honed in their skills in the last 2 years. And, consistent email send outs, there's segmented lists, consistent content creation. We're not perfect, but we're certainly trying to be.
And I love that. So you guys do have a patient reactivation and retention system. And is that also reporting up to you, Steve, in marketing, or is that an ops function, or is it?
It's a marketing function, but it is traditionally an operations function.
Okay.
We share what's called the physician liaison role, because ultimately it is a marketing role, but it's completely, I want to say, triggered by operations, right? Operations really knows what payers we're missing. If they have a brand new provider that's coming on board and there's a need for a ramp up. So it's a quicker communication if the role is kind of shared, because they get physician liaisons. They get as much support from marketing as possible to deliver the message.
I've been hearing a lot about this MOPS thing, marketing and ops sitting at the same table. And this seems to be the case. Email very close to the patient, and only ops knows where and when we need more patient services we need to push in each location, I guess, because that's being fed out of EHRs. And then they say, guys, put more emphasis here.
Yeah. So what's interesting about DermCare specifically, our CEO, Jeffrey Schillinger, he had another company for emergency care. But one of his philosophies is breaking down silos. And that means I know everything operations knows when they know it. I know what billing is dealing with, like on a weekly basis. We have weekly meetings on every Thursday and Monday where we're talking about the bad news. It's not just wins. What's going on? Where are the pain points? How do we fix this? And marketing is directly involved. Operations is directly involved. Recruiting is directly involved. So I know exactly what everyone is dealing with. And so I'm able to communicate with my team in real time so we can address these issues as quickly as possible.
Yeah, so y'all are having very transparent stand-ups every week that are talking. So marketing is sitting at the leadership table. You are not just, hey, go clean it up. You are part of the business decisioning and working together with ops and everybody else.
Well, offering at least insight.
Hey, I mean, that's what we're trying to get our marketing leaders to understand. Like, guys, too often we are getting blamed. CPL is not low enough. Patient volume not high enough. Well, you didn't bring me in to tell me where the capacity was when you're going to onboard a new provider or what services you want to push. Oh, all of a sudden we're the problem. No, we're not the problem. Your call center sucks. You're the problem. Oh, sorry.
You touched upon something there, and I tell my team, you got to be accountable.
Yeah.
Because that's affecting you at the end of the day. So I do not like excuses. I'm very nimble though. I can say, hey, I can understand this and I am very reasonable, but the excuse of I couldn't do this or the other, I don't like. I rather you have an explanation and say, maybe if we did this, we can perfect it. Yeah.
Yeah, we're on the same team, and when the egos get in the way, we start kissing ass and faking stuff, and then so we're big on respect, all straight. But dude, just tell me the problem. I don't mind. We learn when mistakes are made is when we learn. I personally learn nothing when things are going well. I'm like, everything's going well. I don't know what I don't know what I did to get there. That doesn't feel right.
Bad, and I like bad news to be told up front very quickly. I like good news. Of course, I like wins, but I'm very much about just bring it up. Let's solve this issue.
The wins come from all the straightforward losses and feedback that we got, right? That's when you get big wins. All right. So you guys are what's the key to scaling to 70 locations? You guys have like a media playbook. Hey, we just acquired, and then we do these things. We run these campaigns. How do you keep up with all this?
It changes ever so often, but yes, we do have a playbook. We've developed one and it keeps changing ever so often, but we do have a playbook for onboarding physicians. We have playbooks for onboarding practices on exactly what deliverables need to happen in what time frame, whether it be printed assets, website updates, copywriting. There's no easy way to scale multiple brands. At some point, you're going to hit a wall and you're like, wow, I am tired. And then you have 6 other brands that need updates.
Yeah.
So there's no easy way to tell it. Yes, marketing playbooks, very, very important for growth. And we do have those.
Yeah, good. And that's important for our listeners to know, like it works. We used to get brought in at the early stage. Now we mostly work with the larger groups that have playbooks already, but you have to develop the playbooks. If you onboard an agency, one of your goals for the first year with your agency should be, we are going to develop a playbook. So when we onboard the next 20 locations or practices next year, kind of everybody knows what they should do. You do, and not a lot of people want to put the time in.
You touched on something there because I don't think people realize, especially in derm groups, I don't think we realize how important agency relationships are and how they help deliver not just your corporate messaging to your, physicians, but the staff as well. We're not complete experts, and agencies help drive whatever it is that we're trying to accomplish to all stakeholders. So what you just said is perfect. That there's brands bringing you guys in early on and explaining what those relationships are. I think That's amazing.
Marketing can be a selling tool, an acquisition tool for the PE firm and Mr. Schillinger. Is that what?
Yeah, Jeffrey Schillinger.
Jeffrey. So Jeffrey, next time he goes to an acquisition, hey, look, this is what our marketing team can do. Within 6 months, we ramped your patient because they want the second bite. That's why those providers are selling out. And so you guys, with your playbook, you can go say within 6 months, we ramp patient volume. We add providers. We can fill their schedules in 3 months. We increase cosmetics, and you guys are that growth engine. And so we as marketers, I think too often we forget the business reason we exist and we don't align with what old Jeffrey wants.
100. I mean, you literally said things that we're talking about in our business development strategy meetings. Is leveraging our marketing wins in order to solidify what DermCare means to a selling physician.
That's right. I love it. Yeah, that's the whole point. Hildred Capital, I think y'all are back.
Yeah, Hildred Capital.
They're the ultimate decision maker. And then Jeffrey, the whole thing is business. And we came out of scaling up our conference in December. And we heard from a lot of the PE guys and the C-level CMOs, including, they said the biggest issue marketers have is they don't understand the business reason we exist as marketers. And they too often do marketing things with no business implication. All right, enough of that. What works best for driving patient volume, Steve?
First of all, that's a hard question to just answer immediately. Right
Give me a one-word answer.
But what drives patient volume is patient satisfaction,
Ooh.
ultimately. At the end of the day, you ask established practices. If you ask them the questions, how are you getting most of your patients? Word of mouth. Okay. So what are you doing to continue getting more word of mouth patients and not having to rely on Google Ads?
Patient acquisition. Right? I love that. And what role do you play in helping get
generating reviews? One of our top selling metrics is DermCare Management. Since 2020 to 2023, we generated over 35,000 reviews with a 4.8 out of 5-star rating.
Badass.
And the reason for that, why we are so interested in that metric, is because not only are patients that leave a 5-star review super satisfied with it, but by prompting them to leave a review, they are, I don't know what the exact number is right now. I do have that metric. They are more likely to then actually recommend the practice as someone is talking about dermatology needs. They immediately remember, I left a review for them. You have to go to them. So they're actively now promoting your practice because they left a review.
I like that. And it's kind of interesting. It's like they go from like just experiencing the brand to then they're getting it in their phone and they see the name brand and they have to click and it's like activating their brain. So I've never thought about that, but certainly that would help drive. In a lot of groups have review gen systems, but you guys are probably more focused and there's probably, I assume, not practice admin, office assistant, everybody checkout is like, by the way, leave a review. Like it's not just an email that's going out, I assume. This is like an ethos of.
It's an ethos. So this is driven by operations, but it's coming down by, again, linking with marketing. It's a very, very important metric. You should be very jealous of reviewing these on a daily basis, leveraging those reviews. But you asked the question, I gave you the quickest answer. There's obviously.
I love that. No, and then you need, you got to have appointment availability. Website's got to be off the chain. Yeah, we get that. But I like that reviews. I would have said search. So, but that's because I run a PPC agency. Dude, I need to show you this t-shirt. Look at this t-shirt, Steve. You're gonna love it. Hold on.
Oh my God, I want that. So can I get one of those? Yes, I love that. But even that, so you just, PPC, we're not even there yet, but I'll talk about it. We're getting to a place where prior to COVID, there was a few players that really knew what they were doing in search marketing. And they were doing it really well. And, there was a pie in every single community and everyone got a really nice piece of that pie. After COVID and after the backlog of people trying to ramp into, the PPC world, Google doesn't have unlimited traffic for everyone.
That's right.
So, there's things you have to then do to educate your community.
And we have to educate our clients all the time. PPC can't drive your entire capacity needs. You need to look elsewhere. And that's why a lot of clients are really interested in the full funnel advertising. And all right, we got to be in social and we got to educate, which means the content has to be better, which means we have to invest more in creative and educational stuff. It's like, wow, we have to do marketing now.
You just said it. So it was, I'm not going to say easy, but it was certainly helpful to know that you had your PPC and your website ranking really well. That was super helpful for some time, and you knew you were going to generate a good amount of new patients from those channels. But I tell my team, you got to go back to basics now.
Yeah. It's like, remember those marketing classes in school where they taught us like product positioning and differentiation? It's like, now we have to go back and do all that. Let's interview everybody and learn what our unique value props are. And with you, I feel bad. I have empathy for you. I feel bad. Probably not that. See, my wife teaches me how to talk. And I have empathy for you.
No, please continue to feel bad for me, please.
you have to go to 30 practices and try to understand their unique position. And they're all different and they're small. They only have 2 location average. So like they have a mom and pop feel and that provider needs to feel heard, and trying to do personalization at scale. That is hard.
It's very, very hard. What helps is I'm also a creator at heart. So what helps is making sure that you're doing as much planning previously. So if you're at a location, I'm just giving you just general thoughts. If you're at a location, one of your employees is at one of these locations, make sure you get shots that you can intersperse with other B-roll. If you're going for something like that, that still you can combine branding with. So if it's, a talking head about a specific condition, that you can have a narrator complete that video if you need it. Not everything is going to be solved that way. There's our plastic surgery brands. Unfortunately, that's one of those things where you have to have multiple people on staff generating content.
Mm-hmm. There's no short way about it. That's
a little different there.
Yeah. De novo's part of the plan this year?
I don't have information right now that I can disclose that they will be. They haven't been necessarily a big part of our growth strategy. We have 2 de novos currently, but
they're more like a test bed. But it's acquisition game and game.
Two successful ones so far, but there's so much opportunity still out there, and I'm sure our business development and executive team is in the weeds with our pipeline.
They say that this year is going to be the biggest year in quite a few years for healthcare investment from the private. They have so much money. They've got to deploy it. Interest rates are what they are. And I think the election starting in July, nothing's going to happen for 6 months. But the first 6 months will be fun. And then everything will stop.
Without going into detail about specifically DermCare's position, but just generally in the market, you're seeing a softening of banks now being more open to lending money. Interest rates kind of softening. So it can be assumed that that's something that's expected for, PE-backed groups to continue to grow.
We'll see, man. I think it'll be a fun year. I've got you over time, but I want to ask 1 or 2 more questions. So the HIPAA, all of the regulations came out. This is January 24 to date this. And so 23 was a big year for HIPAA stuff. How have you adjusted, whether in systems or marketing? Are we just as effective as before?
There was a few changes we had to make early on last year and then the middle of 2023. Thankfully, a lot of our new patients, again, back to basics, how has your brand depended on developing referral networks. And so, yes, if you do lose some of the ability to do remarketing because you can't install pixels or you can't, you've lost some ability with Google Analytics, there's third-party solutions. But again, making sure that your brand is translating in the real world outside of digital marketing. How are you connecting with your community at large, businesses in your community that you share audiences with? Are you reaching out to them? Are you providing them with valuable resources that they may find that they can leverage for their own consumers, and they can then share those consumers with you? So,
long story short, not just relying on digital advertising to drive patient volume.
And I'm digital first. I'm like, you ask, I'm the one, but I realize everyone's on there. What am I doing differently for not only my practice, but my providers as well?
That's right. That's right. See, Steve is smart, and Steve focused on digital and did all the digital things correctly, and then says it can't drive all patient volume. We got to start looking outside of it. And so the referral, so what is that, high school? That's PCPs? Is it like, what are parts of the referral network people could focus on?
Yeah. So, I mean, the first thing you think about, or any marketer in any group or practice, the first thing they think about is, I need to go out to referring providers. So PCPs, cardiologists, anyone that's having a close look to
That's interesting.
Well, yeah, I mean, anyone that's, you're opening your chest to put the EKG, and then they think about, oh, shoot, I'm seeing some stuff. Oh, yeah, that's like, I don't know. Have you seen a dermatologist? You never know. Yeah, we've had very successful relationship with cardiologists, gynecologists, ophthalmologists, so optometrists. You never know, but not just your medical community. Businesses have.
You just walk in, you say, listen, you got an ugly ass staff. Y'all need to come in.
Well, the staff, usually in these big corporate groups, businesses, all have commercial insurances. What are you doing to acquire those individuals so that they can come into your practice?
You give special spiffs or something like that? I'm not.
No, nothing like that. It's more so how can I provide value to you? You can educating your local community the importance of skin safety.
Yeah, got it.
You'll be surprised how many people do not have a dermatologist. So there's a crazy opportunity for you to generate that from local businesses.
Do you find that the general side is the feeder to the cosmetic side? Where do you put more focus? Is it general? And I know the PE firms love the general side. The multiples are better. But like, where do you put the focus and then you hope it feeds?
So if you looked at it in 2016, 2017, that's normally how it would occur. You had robust practice with general derm, and then you started introducing cosmetic services, and oh my God, I'm starting to generate cash revenue here with my existing patients. But as you deplete those patients, you now have to start competing with med spas and plastic surgery practices, and you start realizing, oh shoot, I'm paying for these leads. It's actually quite competitive out here. So then it becomes something else. So you start using digital marketing channels and so on. Yeah, that's the best way. Social media really is going to be the best way for you to educate your local market in the type of cosmetic services you offer.
We're trying to do TikTok right now with a large behavioral client. We'll see if we can figure it out.
That's not bad, actually. Actually, that's behavioral and TikTok. I mean, it goes together. BetterHelp? They're
BetterHelp
really
is everywhere. BetterHelp just launched. I saw over the weekend, either they realize I need a couples therapist or they're just bad at targeting, but they have a new platform called Regain, I think.
I haven't seen that.
So they split out the couples therapy into a different, I love behavioral, so I find it really interesting.
I think
but BetterHelp, they split it out, and behavioral is very good at marketing in general, and but they get away with just overspending to hope. Anyway, so the cosmetic side, you used to be able to get it fed from general, but then you run out and you have to compete. Med spas, I figure easy to beat because you have MDs and that's like a more, no? No? I would have trouble beating the plastics because it's MD versus MD, but why the med spas? Because they have a better patient experience. It's like easy. What's the deal?
Multiple factors. That's definitely one of them. As I was doing research in, I think 2021, 2022, I started just doing some secret shopping. Just competitors in the market, because I used to see the ads come up, and then on social I saw like these really great creative ads. Like, okay, so I started interacting with them, and in less than 5 minutes someone was responding. Okay, let me do that with my brand. No one's responding. Let me see. I need an appointment. When do you need it by? Oh my God. Wait, what's going on here? This is our availability. And then you reach out to the doctor from the Instagram. They're then, within 10 or 15 minutes, I was seeing that they were putting me in contact with somebody. And then you call them. They're nimble. So I'm not going to generalize. There's a lot of PE-backed med spa practices right now. A good portion of the ones that I'm looking at or have been looking at, they've gotten the game of social media. They understand that a lot of these conversions are happening over DMs. And they're able to establish trust over DM because of how quick they're responding, how open they are about pricing, especially with your younger demos. They want to know exactly what they're going to get when they come in. And for somebody spending $500 to $1,000, you want to give that type of a level of service. So med spas are killing it in that regard.
Yeah. So patient access experience, they're just better at the retail side, and general derms we're doctors. You should wait to see me. And they're like, no, I want to get injected tomorrow.
Right away. And so one of the things I talk to my team is, what's your expectation when you're dealing with any local brand, whether you're a barbershop, whether, salon or nail spa? Your expectation is you're going to reply right away. They want that business. And so we have to bring that level of service into our derm practice. Traditionally, it's sometimes hard to get to someone on the phone to explain something to you, or it wasn't until 2022 that everyone at large understood how important it was to have an online scheduler. Yeah, some people did it, but it wasn't at large. So again, med spas beating us, connecting their schedules with Google right away or with other, Instagram or what have you.
And like having humans follow up. And guys, just having online schedules, step one. DermCare has a good one. But like, that's just step one, having appointment availability tomorrow or not running advertising for that location. Also muy importante. Like that's just step one. Stop running advertising where you don't have visibility, you don't have capacity. So silly. You don't have online scheduling and calls and email. Like, oh God, a lot of bad advertising out there.
Well, I mean, and you know a lot, obviously you're like the guy, but having availability is key. And especially for, let's say you have something on ZocDoc, a lot of these individuals, new patients that you're getting, they're literally comparing the availability as ZocDoc is publishing all of these doctors. They're seeing what's the next available and they're picking one. And obviously they're looking at reviews, but ZocDoc is doing the trouble for you and stacking them up appropriately. So yes, they are looking for when can I get in? Can I get in tomorrow? And you need to make sure that that's how you're competing on those.
You got to be as good as ZocDoc. I'll tell you this, like,
I needed
to find a cardiologist a few months ago for this AFib thing that the watch actually found. So, to health tech saving lives. And so I went and I tried to find a cardiologist and I type in cardiologist in Atlanta. And then I go to a practice website. It's a nightmare to get an appointment. You got to call, you got to email, and then they don't hit you back and then blah. I went to ZocDoc, and I hate ZocDoc because it takes a lot of business and they're terrible and they charge blah, 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 and they don't have first party data.
No comment, but
they have, but they're good at one thing, which is appointment availability for the first doctor. I didn't get the best provider, whatever. I ended up switching, but it does get you in fact. Their retailification is better than individual practices 9 times out of 10.
I mean, I'm not going to, have a relationship with Zoc. I'm not going to bash it too much.
No, they're
great. We did an exercise in I think it was at the end of 2021. And it was, how do our profiles compare to ZocDoc? Let's say ZocDoc is on the top and then at the bottom, what are we doing to literally be the ZocDoc of dermatology for this particular practice? And it's crazy how, that exercise makes you think about user experiences on your website, especially mobile at that time. Now it's like mobile first, but
they're good at it. They're better than everyone. That's a good exercise too. This really is just this really smart SEO company. I wish I had started something like that. Agency.
At this point, I have some conspiracy theories. I mean, because ZocDoc is a Google partner in a way, more ways than we will ever know. So I'm sure, but yes, amazing SEO company.
Yeah.
Just on dermatology, I think they have we researched over like 100,000 to 200,000 pages. There's only 11,000 active dermatologists in the States.
No, they have a page for every city, every state. They're smart. This is a good SEO company. Exactly. It's good. They need to stop charging practices for return patients. And the drop-off rate is tremendous because someone goes to ZocDoc, they're like, ZocDoc is not a practice. Like, I'm just not going to show up. So the no-show rate is tremendous. But it's a great place to get the practice off the ground. It is quick patient flow. And then over time, most of our clients will build their own first-party marketing system and then whatever. Steve, ending on a high note, anything exciting you're looking at 24 that you're going to invest more into?
DMs.
Yeah, so you're going to be sliding in there.
Sliding in those DMs, making it personal. So you have to be able to meet the patient where they are.
Yeah.
Patients are spending an inordinate, you know the word. Very abnormal amount of time on these devices, especially on meta platforms. Yeah. Do you really believe that once they're interacting with your brand that they want to leave the platform to give you a call or send you an email? No, they want to interact on the same platform and go back to scrolling. So if they see one of your ads, make sure that you can respond behind that ad, that you have someone, if not, just connect it to an automation like ManyChat. But
ManyChat. And so that'll get, and so you have Froza. Afroza, she's in charge of the socials and she's answering.
We're training staff. You see, we're training staff at our practices to have someone managing these.
Scary. This sounds scary. A lot of people.
Well, you have quality metrics, so we also work very closely with our support services director, who's in charge of the call center. But we're doing training for these, and we're starting off slow with more of our cosmetic brands, so they are already in tune with giving that concierge level service. But that's the goal. That's our 2024 goal.
They're used to the concierge, and now it's just a new platform, new way to do it. Man, that's smart. I hadn't heard anybody tell me that yet. So I learned a lot from you, Emilio's hermano. Thanks for everything, Steve. Where can people find you?
LinkedIn, Instagram, just my name. You'll find me.
And it's hopefully not hermano de Emilio. It is linkedin.com/Steve Estévez.
Steve Estévez.
Where's your family original from?
I'm from Dominican Republic originally. I'm 38 years old right now. I moved to the States when I was 24. Law grad from Dominican Republic originally.
I saw you worked at a law firm first, and then you went to the dark side, then came over here and helped people.
Thank God. Thank God. It's the best decision I made.
La Punta Cana, but I bet there's more. All right. Thank you for joining Ignite, Steve.
Thank you for having me, Alex. It's been a pleasure talking shop with you.